leaders locally and in Paris to face up to the issue of slavery and proclaim its general abolition in 1794. This revolution wiped out the colony's old ruling class, pioneered guerrilla warfare, and successfully confronted the military might of European imperialism. It shook the Enlightenment's belief in the inherent superiority of all things European. Its primary agents drew on Native American forms of spirituality and African political cultures, and embodied the mutinous spirit of the African American rebels who disrupted colonial authority across the Black Atlantic in the late 18th century. In short, Toussaint embodied the many facets of Saint-Domingue's revolution by confronting the dominant forces of his age: slavery, settler colonialism, imperial domination, racial hierarchy, and European cultural supremacy, and bending them to his will. Through his dynamism, he acquired some striking epithets. His Republican friends hailed him as the Black Spartacus, the modern incarnation of the legendary gladiator who led his fellow slaves against the Roman Republic. His miraculous appearance in Saint-Domingue had, in the words of one of his admirers, transformed the chaos of destruction into the seeds of new life. He was also described as the father of the blacks, the black son of the French Revolution, the Black George Washington, the Bonaparte of the Caribbean, the African hero, the Hannibal of Saint-Domingue, and the centaur of the savannah. A tribute to his horsemanship, his white steed, Bel-Argent, was integral to his myth. By the early 19th century, Philadelphia's newspapers were referring to him as the celebrated African chief. Even liberal opinion in England was moved by the sight of such an uncommon hero. An article in the London Gazette in 1798 hailed Toussaint as a Negro king, a proud representative of the black race whom the Christian world, to their infamy, have been accustomed to degrade. In 1802, the London Annual Register described him as the major public figure of the year and a great man. Toussaint also thrived in the collective imagination of the 19th century. It has been suggested that the revolutionary events in Saint-Domingue directly inspired Hegel's master-slave dialectic, in which the slave eventually transcends his alienation and achieves self-consciousness. Precisely because of his subversive potential, his leadership caused panic among slave owners across the Atlantic. In 1799, Thomas Jefferson denounced Toussaint and his revolutionary comrades as cannibals of the terrible republic, warning that their missionaries could provoke a combustion in America. While in 1801, the British War Secretary, Lord Hobart, shuddered at the thought of the power of a black empire under Toussaint. From London and Paris, through Virginia and Louisiana, to Jamaica, Cuba, Brazil, and Venezuela, planters and merchants echoed these alarms and lambasted the man they saw as the Robespierre of Saint-Domingue. Simon Taylor, the wealthiest sugar baron in Jamaica, tossed and turned in his luxurious bed linen, suffering repeated bouts of fever as he imagined Toussaint and his revolutionaries arriving on his plantation and slitting his throat. Their slaves, conversely, cherished him as an energizing figure and celebrated his military successes against French, Spanish, and British forces. From the late 18th century onwards, Toussaint and the Haitian revolutionaries became potent symbols in the United States. Tales of their civil and military accomplishments were recounted in American newspapers, notably in Philadelphia and Washington. Their achievements helped inspire specific revolts, such as those of Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey, frame social attitudes towards slave emancipation, and embody the very ideal of black heroism. The anti-slavery campaigner Frederick Douglass, the most eminent 19th century African American, was a Toussaint devotee who helped spread his legend across the United States, notably by using images of him in the publicity for his new National Era newspaper. Toussaint's extraordinary afterlives in print, music, painting, and legend are the subject of the last chapters of this book.